Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Knoll. I'd like to welcome you to another Classroom on the Air. This is going to be a short one, and it won't impact everyone. But for those of you who are coming into a nice time of year, springtime going into summer, and you want to plant something, or maybe you have already planted something and want to see, can it get better? The answer is yes. There's a photograph that you're going to see. I just took it yesterday. It's in my garden here. I have about 37 different types of fruit trees. Some of these are 25 years old. And what I've learned in my lesson today is that if you want to have abundant fruit, and I mean a lot of fruit, you have to understand the tree needs nourishment. I have planted almost 40 acres of a unique garden here in Florida. I have thousands of palm trees, different types, Alexander, and the type of fantail palms and Chinese palms and queens and also Bismarcks. So it's just a beautiful garden environment. When I got here, it was just all woods. There were only 2 trees on the property, and bougainvillea that flower into yellow and crimson and purple flowers. But it's what you feed them and how you treat the plant that will determine how beautiful it's going to be, how much fruit it's going to grow. This is strictly about your fruit trees. So what you're seeing is I'm holding a lot of immature, they're just the beginning of these mangoes. Now, last year, I also have photographs of that same tree. It was much taller. It was about 15 foot high. And I got about 60 mangoes. Okay, and these were nice, large mangoes. But then I did what everyone should do. I trimmed back the tree. Starting at the top, I went down to where the tree's about 8 to 9 foot high. That's it. I took about 8 foot off the top of the tree. I also, if you look, I took the bottom of the tree. So there's nothing growing from the ground to about 4 to 5 feet. I then raked out all the leaves and kept it clear. Why? Because that's how you eliminate fungus. One of the most common destroyers of fruit is fungus. And once it spreads, it just keeps spreading to all the other trees. Same way with beetles. Beetles get into your palm trees. They can spread to about 150 feet. And then that tree becomes infected, and suddenly all the trees are infected. So what I do is this. Here's the message. Right after your harvest, just get up with the chainsaw and cut the tops of the trees off so that however high you can reach, about 8 foot, or even with a small ladder, maybe 9 foot, that's as tall as your fruit tree should be. Why? Because the energy that should go into growing the fruit goes into the growth of the tree. Hence, the taller the tree, the less fruit. And sometimes no fruit at all. Also, I have bees. Now, I feed my bees every day. I feed them raw, organic honey, about a cup. And that way, when there's nothing else for them to eat, they're not starving. So they're thriving. 50, 60,000 bees just from one hive. And that way, I don't use their honey, and honey is meant for the bee to use. And parts of the year, there's just no pollen. There's nothing in bloom. There's no nectar for them, especially in the wintertime. People forget this. What do most people feed? Sugar water. That's very bad. Just like if you drank sugar water, it'd be bad for you. And they die very, very premature than what they should. So give some honey to your bees every day. Next, put a fertilizer at the drip line of your tree or wherever the root ball is. Now, some roots of trees stay together and go down. Other roots go out. So just check to see where are your roots, and that's where you put your fertilizer. But I fertilize every month. I don't over-fertilize it, but remember that fertilizer is the food for the tree. And then I make sure that there is a copper solution that is sprayed on the tree if there should be any fungus. As a result of that, the energy from all this good soil that is planted in, most people take 1 cup, a cup of milorganite, and throw it on the ground. No. What you do, you dig a hole 6 feet deep, 6 feet wide. You fill it with outstanding topsoil, good black dirt, plant it so it's got a lifetime to go out and feed on all this. You get earthworms in there too that gives phosphorus to the soil. And you can also put ladybugs in there, which help eat aphids, and praying mantises. Ladybugs, praying mantises kill a lot of insects. So now the tree is starting to grow, and you're fertilizing it every month, and you're making sure there's no fungus. So now I have on one side of the tree alone almost 500 mangoes. Last year, under 70, this year, 500. That's what happens when you let the energy go into the fruit, and also your branches go out. So you'll have a thicker tree and much more fruit. Now, I don't have a photograph today of that, but I have every single tree I treat the same way. And every single tree is bearing a lot of fruit. Healthy, organic. All right, it's simple. Now, for some fruit, like cherries, I'm getting 4 crops a year. Up north, I got 1. Here, 4. Again, because I cut it back, fertilize it, and then I throw a fine netting over it that keeps the birds from eating all the fruit. And they'll eat your figs. They'll eat any kind of fruit once they see the colors changing. Green, they won't eat it. It gets yellow, like you're going to get yellow guava. They'll eat it. So also, if you cover your tree, then you're not going to lose it to animals, but also get the fruit that drops, because the fruit that drops to the ground means it's heavy. It's filled with water and natural sugars. It will be the tastiest, healthiest. That's tree ripened. Or put your hand under, let's say, a mango or an orange, grapefruit. And if it feels heavy, that means it's mature. It's ready to pick. Same way with tomatoes. What we buy in the supermarket is frequently, it's not healthy because it hasn't been allowed to have the enzymes ripen it through photosynthesis, and therefore kind of almost as tasteless. So you want tasteful, healthy, and things you can grow yourself. Well, this is one of the tips. Now, on upcoming programs, and previous programs that I'm getting out of my archive now, I'm going to show you every single thing about growing flowers, edible flowers. Edible flowers, at least 40 different types of edible flowers. They're wonderful to decorate a salad with and put as a decoration around a main dish, but then you can eat them. I'll show you how to do those. Microgreens, I'll show you how to do that. Many different sprouts. You can make a bowl this big with 30 different sprouts and then have different dressings in at the same time. I'll show you how to make reductions. For those of you who don't know, I'm a gourmet master vegan chef. I've produced some of the most award-winning cookbooks, including Curing the Incurable cookbook. And I own the first gourmet vegan restaurant in the United States, the Fertile Earth, up on 108th and Broadway. Had it for 10 years. And then Gary's Place, very popular place, one of the most popular restaurants in New York City. We would serve 200 to 300 brunches alone on Sunday between 10 o'clock and 2 in the afternoon, all vegan and gourmet. And so I'll be at some point going in the kitchen and showing you how to do different guilt-free desserts, sugar-free desserts, healthy desserts, and making what I call functionally healing meals, meaning everything on that meal, from the salad to the entree to the salad dressing, will heal the body. So those are coming. We have a lot to share, and it's free. All right. And you can always go to GaryNall.com to get more information, or you can listen to some of the wonderful people on the Progressive Radio Network. Abby Martin on the weekends, and we have Jimmy Dore, Max Blumenthal, and I'm on every day at noon Eastern Standard Time, Monday to Friday. All right, go to PRN.Live, PRN, Progressive Radio Network.live. And keep in mind, I'm doing a long series of classrooms on the air dealing with our mind, our mental health, how to find happiness, not out there, not by what you possess or work for, in here. I have over 100 of those, so you'll be seeing a lot of those as well. I'm trying to spread it out and deal with every single issue in life that impacts us. All right. Thank you for taking the time, and share this with others if you find it of value. Take a look at the picture and you'll see all those mangoes. I mean, a ton of them. And you could do the same in your own backyard. Have a nice day.
Are you tired of closed-minded programming? Well, look no further than PRN.Live, the home for progressive voices.